So I saw this cool piece of artwork online, and I just was really taken by the idea of sort of a glass chamber with some sort of brass on the top and the bottom of it, and sort of thinking how that might fit into the Museum of the Impossible. So I'm going to try to make something like that. First of all, a couple of thanks. Rich Thurfield and Mark Wolfire and Jobeth R. Bowers, thank you all so much for being a part of this. Also, need to give a special shout out to an artist here in Howard County named Ed Cadera. Ed does some amazing work using a bunch of different metals sort of pushed together and rearranged in some really fantastic ways. And when I say fantastic, the term steampunk I have a little bit of issue with, because sometimes steampunk just means slapping some gears on a thing and making it look sort of old Victorian retro. But Ed's work is really amazing. And not only have I enjoyed his work, but also he was kind enough to gift me a variety of sort of brass and metal things that he no longer needed in his shop. And so I'm sure that some of what Ed has provided is going to be involved with this project today. So when I saw that picture, my first thought was maybe it's some sort of like a terrarium that holds some kind of weird or exotic, impossible alien plant. But then thinking more into, well, why is it enclosed like that? Why not just a regular terrarium? Got me thinking about, well, maybe what's impossible about it is that it can't survive in our atmosphere. Maybe it has to be pressurized somehow. So I have no sketches. I have no ideas right now. I'm literally just going to be tinkering using the inspiration from the image that I showed you and going off of the idea of a terrarium that's kind of pressurized. So I grabbed some stuff like this, which would be cool to have like a gauge on there. And again, you know, my issue with steampunk is just sort of putting things on willy-nilly. I really want to try and think about, okay, if this was actually a pressurized terrarium, where would make sense to have a gauge and an input and an output, that kind of a thing. It's supposed to be fantastic, but in addition to that, I want to be giving a little bit of thought rather than just sticking a gauge someplace random. So yeah, I think it's time for a time lapse to watch me play with some grown-up toys here. So yep, here we go. All right, so here's what I have for the time being, what I've ended up with. It's got sort of a octopus tentacle kind of a thing to it, which I kind of like. This part I'm going to be attaching more securely, and then actually the way this all fits best, this thing is upside down, so I'm going to have to make some sort of like a floor in here. I stuck some pipe in here, and I might mess with this a little bit, but for these three, what I'm sort of picturing is a way to put air in and a way to have a gauge of the air and then a way to take the air out. Again, all this is completely made up, but if I were actually using it, this is what I would need. So I had this really cool gauge that I wanted to use. Here's the problem. This is a very different kind of fitting than this, and not just a different size thread, but this is a lamp fitting, 1/8" IPS, that would never ever be used with this size fitting, which I believe is a 1/4" NPT. The point being that this type of fitting, this pipe is never designed to hold water or air. It literally is just something that goes together to make a lamp. So a fitting that would connect these two, I don't think would exist in the real world, because there's no real world application where you would want to attach this onto here. But I do, and I have a 3D printer. So check this out. I made myself a little adapter. I was able to find online both the threads, the inside threads for the small side as well as the large side. And then I did a couple of test prints that were just a basic hexagon outside, but I thought it would be kind of fun if I added a little bit of sort of detail to it. So this has like a little bit of, you know, a little something on there. Basically then if I paint this gold and then, you know, sort of rough it up a little bit, maybe add some texture to it, something that'll help to catch the light a little bit. But check this out. I can now attach this guy, this screws onto here like that. And then this thing screws onto here like that. And once it's all painted up and everything, it's going to look 100% like that was meant to be on there. So I also made up this little guy. This is a fake valve. It's not a real valve. It's just all one printed piece. But again, the threading on the bottom there can go onto here. And then this is a real air compressor fitting that I have. And so I'm going to use another one of these adapters to basically go from here onto there. So yeah, need to do a little bit more printing and paint those up. And then I think I'll be done with all the brass stuff on it. This stuff is called Rub and Buff, and first got on my radar by Adam Savage. I don't mean that Adam Savage like pulled me aside and told me about it. I mean that I watched a couple of his YouTube videos and saw him using it. And this stuff is amazing. It is the best way I've found to make something that is not metallic look like it is metallic.
Hey, Peter Wood here. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up or a comment from you. It costs you nothing and it's a huge help. This video is part of my Museum of the Impossible project, and there's a bunch more that I would love to share with you. If touring a Museum of the Impossible sounds like the kind of thing you'd enjoy, head on over to museumoftheimpossible.com. Okay, back to the video.